Hi everyone, welcome to the Film Dirt Lounge. I'm going to be talking about another documentary. This is JFK Revisited Through the Looking Glass. Now, as the title suggests, this is Oliver Stone's revisit of the JFK topic. And it certainly is interesting. I haven't reviewed his film, I think it came out in 1993, didn't it? I haven't reviewed it yet, but I will do, definitely, now that I've taken a look at this and almost revisited this subject myself. It never ceases to shock. You can watch that Zapruder film over and over again, and it's still just shocking. It's as shocking now as it was back then, I'm sure. And there's all sorts of conspiracies, isn't there? Like, was the Zapruder film edited? Because I heard that it was confiscated from Abraham Zapruder, and then when it was returned to him, it wasn't in the same form. It wasn't, in its full form. They've obviously taken stuff out. So what have they taken out? And this documentary kind of explores a lot of the conspiracies and a lot of the new evidence that's arisen since. Now, I remember only a few years ago, wasn't it, Donald Trump released new documents that were previously withheld or censored. And I believe President Biden has released even more. So why were they censored in the first place? I can appreciate there's national security involved here. The public just want to know what happened. And from what this documentary told me was that, do we really want to know? I know it's a subject of immense interest, but you can go down the rabbit hole or get caught in a spider's web almost, can't you? There's just so much that is messy here. Probably because the duration of time that has since passed. I mean, it's been so long since the 60s now. A lot of the bystanders, witnesses and the people involved in government, they're no longer with us. And it really should have been explored at the time. Again, that's impossible to do, diligently, because government being government, they'll release to us what they want us to see. So what Oliver Stone has done here, he's made it really compelling. And he's done a superb job with this documentary. I think this is probably one of the most comprehensive. I've seen a few in the past. There's a couple which are particularly good, and their name escapes me. And a lot of the evidence that we've now seen is very compelling, and to me it points to multiple shooters. I'm not an expert in ballistics, but when you see images of watermelons exploding from entry and exit wounds, and demonstrating that they can be all sorts of phenomenon in all directions. And we get it. We understand that bullets, they can alter trajectory. Once they hit bone, they get all mangled and they can become magic and go and go through multiple people. It's very hard to believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. But naturally, with all huge events like this, there's going to be conspiracies. There's so many connected with, the Iraq War and 9/11. Was it an inside job, or was it Castro and all these other people who have got previous, and they can be counted as a prime suspect? It's just so much to take in. With the first half of this documentary, it goes through very thoroughly the evidence and anything that's newly come to light. And then I don't really know what happened in the second half. We go down some kind of rabbit hole and we're talking to all these figureheads that were involved in taking photos and the whereabouts of Lee Harvey Oswald before and after the event. And it's just all incredibly deep. I can imagine someone like Oliver Stone getting completely invested in something like this. After making that very good film he made in '93, so much has changed since. technology has improved, and obviously all of the new evidence that has come to light. Well, I say evidence, I guess it's what the government want us to see. So really, this is a couple of hours of complete investment, one of the most thorough, eye-opening documentaries on this topic. And for me personally, I'm kind of leaning on the assumption of there being multiple shooters, and that JD Tippit story, that just seems very odd why he would get shot. He's almost a ringer for JFK himself, isn't he? So why would that be significant? There's all sorts of stories about him being the one on the gurney, showing less trauma so that it doesn't look so obvious that there was multiple shooters, possibly. I'm just going by what I'm seeing here, and it's all really compelling. And also the lack of key witnesses being called up by the Warren Commission at the time. There was loads of people on the grassy knoll, and throughout the whole route the motorcade was taking, were not called up for a statement. All very, very odd. And after seeing 2 hours of this documentary, it just makes you want to look into it more. And then look up the Zapruder film again, just to see if you can see any further clues. And I did get into the theory that it could be the driver. It does look like he's turning around, doesn't it? The video is so low quality. Wasn't it a 35mm film? And back in the 60s, there's only so much you can upscale it to. There is something odd about it, the whole thing. And I guess we just have to chalk it off to an event in history, and it will remain history, because what else can we do now at the turn of the millennium? So, very interesting documentary. To give this an overall score, I'm going to give it 4 stars. And I've only marked it down 1 star because I just thought the second half went a little bit too deep and kind of lost me in all the politics. I'd like to have seen more of a deep dive in the actual evidence and the photos. But it's hardly a negative, really. What we did get here overall was nothing short of fantastic. So enjoy your own sessions of digging through whatever evidence is available out there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to revisit JFK, the 1993 film. And I'll probably bring a review to this channel very soon. And from what I recall from when I saw it all those years ago, even with all the new evidence, I think it's still perfectly relevant. So I'll join you again shortly for that. Stay tuned on the channel. Thank you for joining me, and I'll join you again soon. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. All the best and take care.